From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us on the Noon News. I'm Kelsey Boggs. Jason has our Christmas forecast, plus a look at an epic photo above Washington Grizzly Stadium. But first, our top story. The mayor of Joliet is facing felony charges for allegedly holding a gun beneath a woman's chin. Dakota Mitchum, who also serves as the town's postmaster, is accused of felony assault with a weapon. Court documents say the charge stems from an incident on Sunday on 2nd Street in Joliet. 2 Carbon County Sheriff deputies were dispatched to a domestic disturbance at a home. A woman inside said Mitchum threatened her with a gun, telling her, quote, "I have the kids." He faces up to 20 years in prison if convicted. If you've driven between Belgrade and Bozeman, you've probably noticed the traffic. As MTN's Edgar Cedillo explains, work is beginning to improve the connectivity of the two cities.
After the city of Bozeman hit a population milestone of 50,000 people in the 2020 census, they're now tasked with creating a regional planning district which will focus on transportation. Their new partners are now with the city of Belgrade and Gallatin County.
We're required to create a metropolitan planning organization, and that's a regional planning organization that deals with transportation issues. That has everything to do with transit, to roads, to trails, to shared use paths, etc.
Bozeman and Gallatin County leaders added the city of Belgrade to the Metropolitan Planning Organization, or MPO, as a way to plan ahead for the growth there as well.
Really advocated for pulling in the city of Belgrade as well because they're growing so quickly and part of this kind of urban core of the valley.
The MPO would create a unified transportation plan, and it also could find funding for projects, including more highway exits between Bozeman and Belgrade.
One example is the frontage road to Valley Center spur that goes underneath the interstate and across the railroad.
MPO is separate from the Urban Transportation District, which voters approved in 2022.
The Urban Transportation District that the voters just created is an integral part of it. So look at it as 5 partners: the City of Bozeman, Gallatin County, City of Belgrade, Montana Department of Transportation, and the Urban Transportation District.
Now that the county and the 2 cities have agreed to this organization, it'll now head to Governor Greg Gianforte's desk for his final approval. In Bozeman, Edgar Cedillo, MTN News.
Hundreds of public comments flooded a city council meeting in Laurel last night over plans to expand industrial projects along the Yellowstone River, including the Northwestern Energy plant that is suspended from operating. That facility is basically built, but it still can't operate due to controversial zoning regulations. The meeting last night looked to amend those plans, a decision that could impact several types of businesses in the area. But the meeting was pushed to next year due to the large amount of public comment. The agenda handout included hundreds of pages, and there were hundreds of emails sent in from the public. The Northern Plains Resource Council approved the board's plans to take more time.
Talking to a lot of the folks you see in this room today, not one single person has any clue or idea about what you guys are up to at this meeting.
This is huge. You're asking the city of Laurel to cede ownership or control over the buffer zone that they've always had.
As a longtime nearby landowner, Northwestern does support the proposals before you tonight. We believe they provide a sensible path for future development.
The hearing was rescheduled to January 17th. The sentencing hearing of a teen charged with vandalism in Blaine County has been rescheduled. 18-year-old Devin Nelson's hearing is being moved to February the 2nd at the Blaine County Courthouse. It was originally scheduled for December 20th. He's being charged alongside 19-year-old Jasper Wendland with several felonies and misdemeanors in connection with extensive vandalism that occurred in August of 2022. Evidence suggests the pair destroyed over $500,000 in agricultural equipment belonging to the Gasvoda family in southern Blaine County. Devin Nelson's restitution hearing occurred December 12th. Attorneys presented exhibits for potential restitutions owed to the plaintiff. The sentencing hearing has been pushed further back, citing a requirement of additional time to review proposed restitutions. Co-defendant Jasper Wendland's sentencing hearing is scheduled for February the 13th. Officials lifted the boil water advisory in Huntley yesterday. The precautionary advisory has been in effect since Monday after the city's water system experienced a loss of pressure. Officials feared that loss of pressure, which was caused by a water main break, could have let unknown contaminants into the system. The city of Helena is testing electric vehicle charging stations. Charging stations were installed at the Bill Roberts Golf Course and the Jackson Street parking garage downtown. They are level 2 chargers and can accommodate 2 vehicles at a time. While in the testing phase, charging is free to the public. The testing period is expected to last a couple of months. Once testing is done, the City Commission will set the charging fee. The project cost $50,000, $17,000 of which came from the Montana DEQ's Charge Your Ride grant. And that's a look at some of the day's top stories.
And a good Thursday afternoon, everyone. We're 8 hours and 22 minutes away from the start of winter. It doesn't look very winter-like over most of Montana, although we have been fairly socked in with low clouds and fog around Kalispell. Lots of clouds over Missoula, trying to break out with a little bit of sunshine there, but everybody else has a lot more sunshine today. The temperature's already well above average, especially in Great Falls. 54 degrees is 52 degrees in Lewistown. We'll be threatening a record today in Livingston, where it's currently 49 and it's 48 degrees in Billings. So keeping track of some changes going forward. We still have the end to autumn. Again, that's at 8:27 tonight. We'll also have more mild weather for one more day as we head into the first day of winter. However, snow is coming. I'll have your forecast coming up.
It's a photo of an almost ghost-like Washington Grizzly Stadium in the fog as the sun sets while an epic battle of football rages below. You've probably seen this photo by now. It's been shared a lot on social media. But MTN's Jill Valley wanted to know more about the photographer who took it.
Brian Christensen has been a photographer in Missoula for a decade, a professional one for about 3 years, with an eye for landscape photography.
It is a way to engage acutely with an individual moment, because you have to be engaged with that, with the light, with the form, to understand the interplay, watch the interplay of light and form, to be able to, you got to be tuned in. You can't tune out.
People love his work, but it was this almost ethereal view of Saturday's semifinal game from up on top of Mount Sentinel that spread quickly through Grizz Nation, a photo he'd been thinking about for a week.
I really was thinking a lot about how the light of the stadium, because it was going to be a afternoon to dusk game, could potentially yield a nice balance of light between the lights of the stadium and a sunset.
But then came the fog from an inversion, and that was a factor.
I called it Brawl in the Sky, because I understand that the moniker Brawl is generally reserved for the Cats versus Grizz, but it just felt like a battle with the cloud and the inversion. By the time it was dusk and the light was starting to balance and the light of the stadium was sort of coming through, the clouds cleared a little bit above the stadium because it was too dense for most of that experience. And then they cleared for a little bit, just enough to let the details of the stadium, you can see Montana and Grizzlies you can see the players on the field, and the lights coming through, pairing with what was one of the most spectacular sunsets I've seen in a long time.
Once it was posted on social media, Brian's website blew up with people who wanted to print, and within 24 hours, it was his most popular photo to date.
And then I got overwhelmed. I had to shut down my website, I had to shut down that product for like 24 hours to catch up and try to get my feet under myself to understand how the heck I can meet all this demand.
With the help of friends and family, he's getting caught up, and he understands what this photo means to Grizz fans.
That was a fight. That was a total fight, and it really, being up on the M on Mount Sentinel really made you feel like this game was in the sky.
In Missoula, Jill Valley, MTN News.